So is Northern Pacific Airways another fake airline? Absolutely not. I mean, it could certainly flop, but I don't think this is another airline scheme to defraud investors of tons of money. In fact, unlike with fake airlines, nowhere on Northern Pacific's website do they ask you to invest. It seems like they've got all the funding they need from some secretive shell organization called the Cow Jones Family Trust of 2017, which appears to be the wallet of a somewhat elusive, Bitcoin-savvy, multimillionaire entrepreneur named Joseph Alexander Weiner Jones. And no, I'm not making that up, but I should say he goes by Josh Jones. But moving along, let's break down and take a closer look at all of the aforementioned red flags and see why they're not as bad as they initially seem. The first red flag was the aircraft selected. The 757 is not the best candidate for the job. What is? 100% its bigger brother, the 767. But with ocean shipping disarray and pandemic-caused passenger airline cancellations, air cargo has never been in more demand. And one of the staple workhorses of air cargo is the Boeing 767. New, old, passenger-converted, purpose-built, there are none of these just sitting around doing nothing. They have all been acquired by the highest bidder, and most of these highest bidders have been money-making cargo airlines. So there is no existing inventory, and Boeing isn't producing the passenger variant anymore. So Northern Pacific literally can't get any 767s. So it was a choice of wait or go now and start small. Obviously they went with the latter option, which I hesitantly agree with. I think the 757 is fine to get started with, but they've got to upgauge soon. Carrying palletized belly cargo, which the 757 cannot do, will be very important for this airline during the winter, because both Alaska-bound and trans-Pacific passengers dwindle during these cold months. Meanwhile, cargo rates increase then, which would offset the season's lower passenger numbers. A bigger aircraft would also unlock other destinations than just South Korea and Japan, notably China, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. Regarding the only one 757 in San Bernardino, this actually isn't that suspicious. Related to the cargo demand due to the pandemic, maintenance facilities remain super busy making sure all of these older, repurposed aircraft are airworthy. So while it was expected that the first 757's C-check was supposed to be completed last month, I'm not surprised at all that it's taking them longer than scheduled. And in fact, just this past Wednesday, Northern Air Pacific held an event in San Bernardino where they unveiled a fully painted 757. So it does certainly exist, even if the interior still needs to be installed. And regarding the other 5 757s that they haven't disclosed the registration details on, I also don't really find this suspicious. If we recall recently with Breeze, when they acquired their Embraer E-Jets, they didn't disclose exactly which aircraft they were acquiring, even when they had been painted in the Breeze scheme. Airlines are businesses, and businesses are cautious when it comes to giving out exact details about anything until they can for sure produce the results that they want. So Northern Pacific probably only gave one of the plane's registration numbers to us just to create some excitement. But I don't think it should be expected that they're going to give us details on every single plane that they're going to launch with. Now, why is Northern Pacific's website suspiciously hyper-focused on the 757? Well, the CEO, unlike many other airlines, isn't CEO because he's some successful business Ivy Leaguer. He's the CEO because this is his bread and butter. He's a Learjet pilot that has been director of aviation at Culver Academics, CEO of an FBO, COO of Makulele Airlines, president of Southern Airways Express, recently CEO of Raven Airlines, and CEO of 3 other small airlines. Yeah, this guy's the real deal. He's a pilot who loves aviation, so it's not that crazy that he's excited about the classic 757 being the launch type of this new airline. Another sign that shows me this airline is legit and trying to get on people's radar is that the website can be translated into Japanese and Korean, which shows me that they're serious about obtaining customers not only on the US side, but also within Asia. Lastly, let's look a bit more into this crypto stuff. Cryptocurrency is a very new technology, and honestly, it's a bit unproven. So pretty much anything cryptocurrency kind of looks suspicious. But just because it's mostly misunderstood today and very much associated with meme stock culture, doesn't mean it and its blockchain technology don't have the potential to be valuable to the business. People absolutely love rewards programs, and Northern Pacific might just be able to successfully weave crypto and loyalty together. In fact, the company's president, Tom Shea, has an extensive background in IT. and he's making some serious headway in a Raven subsidiary startup called Flycoin, which will be the platform for this crypto rewards program. And remember Mr. Long-Name Josh Jones? He made his millions pioneering the internet in the 1990s. And he's the CTO of Flycoin, so this seems to be a genuine aspiration rather than a buzzword hype maker. I think as 2022 rolls along, we'll see more and more developments from Northern Pacific. And hopefully by 2023, they'll be flying their little old narrow bodies all the way to Asia. An airline that won't be flying though is Pan African, an airline that the president of Kenya made up in a recent speech. You can find out more about that in the video on screen. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what aircraft you think Northern Pacific Airways should acquire after the 757. The 767 still probably won't be an option in a couple of years. So once again, they'll have a difficult decision to make. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next time.